18 months basically,
Yeah.
with the exception of cocktails.
Yeah.
But
No,
but no,
I
now
finally down there
I'm
with this coffee sugar giving
like
tickets.
I
I so then I like moved over here because like all these
Yeah.
guys come out and had tickets,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
The
I just
first
wanna make
week that
that.
doing this whole
I
thing,
want to get
like day 3,
I get it. The next
I just like withdrawals.
so I was trying to drive down and come this way, and the
I
coffee
feel
was on the
I'm
street.
in week
And
3,
having
so
the
I'm
lights
starting
on,
to-
and I just parked there for a second because I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
now I've got.
and I was like, oh, that's not special. So I dropped my stuff off and went back out there. And all these guys.
There you go. Yeah, and fruit is a lot more sweet
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
it's
it's
just
like,
like,
oh
you didn't give me a ticket.
my gosh, it's
So
like
the kid just pulled it. I was
No,
like,
so you're,
it's kind of sugar, like if I sugar out there, like you can tell. I
Sure.
love to get rid of it.
Sure.
I normally come down Brian all that way, but that thing that they're building, that big orange structure thing keeps
Well,
blocking the
what do you mean,
road.
full good?
It blocked me last time when I was coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, I went back and got it, now that the cop's gone, I wasn't blocked, I came down and parked on the street.
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with. I'm losing
Cause I parked on that.
Yeah.
street, and I'm like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and there's kids that say no parking.
oh yeah, sorry. That's why I said, I looked at the sign first, there's not even any sign.
Good morning, everybody. Ashley and Patty have joined us online. And there's Mr. Andrew. How are you, sir?
Good, how's it going?
Yeah, I would say that's sweet.
Yeah.
Here, Andrew. Here with the.
Patty looks so cute.
Okay, so everybody, welcome to September the 25th. This is our last meeting for September. Next week will be October, believe it or not. Here already, the fourth quarter is beginning. So this is John Yarbrough. He's with GoRascal Mortgage, and John brought us breakfast this morning from Starbucks, so I hope everybody got some. Patty and Ashley, I'm sorry that y'all didn't get any, but you're not
Here, also cookies.
And cookies. Homemade cookies when it's wine.
Yes.
So this is John. I'm gonna let him take the floor for about 10 minutes, and I've got a presentation. Just tell me when you want to flip it, and I'll do it from here. Okay?
Sure thing. Well, hey y'all. I think I'm gonna come over here so I can see.
Here,
Are you sure?
I'll come right here.
Okay, cool. My name is John, as we said up here. I want this presentation to be kind of conversational. So who is my most senior real estate agent? Who's been in the business the longest? Raise your hand. Hey, Brian, did you know that a $700 car payment can eat up almost $100,000 in purchasing power on a house?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. But it's kind of a shocking stat for me. I noticed on your website, y'all want to make the real estate process easier, more accessible, and more enjoyable. I think our values align there. So let's get into it. So here's our agenda. We're going to intro who I am. We're going to talk about GoRascal, which is the brokerage I work for. We're going to talk about the benefits of working with me, and then kind of the products that I can show y'all. So first of all, who am I? So see that guy right there, that block, that's me. So I've been a pro football player for the last 5 years. So you know I'm team oriented. I'm super self-motivated. Obviously the pandemic happened in the last 5 years. I didn't have a football job for a year and a half. I hadn't started a game before that, but I knew I had more to give to football. So I trained for a year and a half, and I knew the opportunity was coming. And in the beginning of 2021, the Canadian Football League came calling. And then SIFCOI. This is an acronym. I actually learned it in Canada too. It's can I freaking count on you? In a locker room, it's can I something else. And we're gonna PG it up. But I think you should be asking that to your lenders. Can I freaking count on you to protect my reputation? Can I count on you to be with a borrower at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night who's really worried about their closing process? At the end of this presentation, I hope you can. So let's talk about GoRascal. GoRascal, our tagline is a different breed of mortgage. I'm the first broker in Texas, so I'm kind of being the shining light, the first light in Texas. But we're born with efficiency in the forefront. So we don't have a lot of overhead. We're trying to transfer as much value to the borrower. And then we also don't want the real estate agent to be the only shoulder to cry on. We want to be with the borrower throughout the process, answer any questions. And that looks different from a first-time home buyer where you're telling them every single thing that's happening. to somebody who's doing their second investment property, they don't want to hear all that. They know what's going on. All right. So we're going to help you win. The refinance boom is here. We heard the Fed last week. Some of your lenders might have longer term times because they're trying to refi all those clients that they had at 7%. I'm only 6 months into the business, so I don't really have those refi clients, which is good for you. That means my turn times are going to be quick. I'm going to be able to give you a lot of attention. We're going to leverage the refi boom together. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but I want to keep up here. So speed to closing. This is the current deal I'm working on. It is going to close on Monday, but I got cleared to close in 11 days, and I think I can do better than that. We get the early CD out at initial approval. You know the trick rules. We want to be able to start that seasoning process right off the bat. I can set my own closing date. I'm going to use this deal I'm working on right now as an example. So we're closing on Monday, but I was trying to push them to close on Friday so my borrower could have time to move in over the weekend, make it better for him. We were all systems go on that on Monday. Last night, the seller told me, hey, I have too much stuff to get out. I don't think I can do it. So we moved it back to Monday, the original closing date. I can do that. I can move it back. It's not a clunky process with the lender. And then the last thing we've got is table funding. So we're not going to be waiting on that Fed number. I know a lot of you have been, sitting at a closing table waiting on that Fed number to come in. But I can get you that table funding. We're funded right away. And then the teammate mentality. We already talked about SIFCOI, but say you got an open house in not the best neighborhood. You need a lender/bodyguard to be there. I'm your guy. You need a home value estimate when you're doing showings. You're out on the trail. You don't have time to look it up. Send me a text. I can get that to you. And we're going to talk about that on the next slide as well. So here we go. This is the top third page of my home value estimator tool that I've got. So is Kelsey here? Kelsey Young?
No, she's not.
Okay, no worries. So this is her. This is her listing. So obviously we use this a lot on the buy side, but it could be an asset on listing. So she's got the listing at 429, and we've got this home value estimate at 435, and there's no way a comment on her pricing. But if we've got this estimate at 435, we know we can probably appraise for 435. So say you have a price conscious buyer or a closing price conscious buyer. You say, hey, offer me $3,000 over listing. We'll give you that back in closing costs, and then everyone's happy. This house sells for more. We can satisfy the buyer's needs by giving them a little bit of closing costs. And I can pull these really quickly on my phone. So I'm just going to leave this here so y'all can see kind of what I can do. And then on the right, so say you have Tasha. Say you have a listing that you got an open house for. I'm going to bring this over to you. And you need kind of a pricing example to show potential borrowers, what they see coming out the door. And this is real pricing. I'm in the 5s right now, but I can do that for you pretty quickly as well. Ready for the next? Yes, sir. And then warm leads. I am in the demographic of people who are getting into the housing market. I've gone full speed ahead with my social media, and I've actually had one lead come in from that. So one of my realtor partners, there's actually a strength coach I work with here in Texas. He called me, he said, I'm ready to start the home buying process. We got him with my realtor partner, and we're getting his him to where we're getting him to kind of narrow his case down so I can tell him what kind of down payment he's going to need to start saving for. So that's full steam ahead. And then products. So we're in Texas, so I've got land loads, 2-acre minimum, a 15% down payment. I've also got a 0% down program, so this is attractive for first-time home buyers. The income limit where we're standing right now is $85,000 per borrower, which is pretty high. That's gross, so before taxes. And then a 3% down payment max, that's as much assistance as I can get. And then we've got the Home Ready First, and this is actually a grant where there's no income limit. And there's $5,000 for first-time home buyers who move from a specific area. And this is interesting because, if you get the next for me, here's Fort Worth, here's Dallas. These are all, the shaded areas, all places where they can move from and get that $5,000 grant. to help with closing costs. So it's pretty expansive, especially in this area. So I wanted to point that out to y'all as well.
Cool.
All right.
These slides will be in Slack. I'll put everything
On
in
the
Slack.
last slide, the dark blue areas, is there moving like from a dark blue area into a dark blue area, or does it have to be like out of?
It's just where the residence is now.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know if that is where they were moving.
Sure,
to.
sure. That's a great, it's a great question. No, it's just from where the resident is now. It's a really expansive program, I think. And so what am I asked? Obviously, I'm asking for business. I can help you out. I think I've shown that. Collaborate. Let's find fun ways to kind of get in front of the community together. I was talking about leveraging the refinance boom together. We can send those home value estimate reports out to your previous clients. Get in front of them. My boss has done this. He got one refi from it, and then a realtor actually got a client from that because they were like, "Hey, I've been in this house for 2 years. I see the rates are lower. Let's go upgrade right now." And then referrals. Obviously, I want that to be a two-way street. I don't want to be asking everyone for referrals. I want to be able to provide referrals as well. Okay, so if you're on the goal line and you're looking for someone, I'm your guy right there.
66?
66, that's me. Yeah, so thank you so much for your time. Do you have any questions?
I think so.
Okay, cool. We go to the next slide.
Yes, sir.
So I've just put this up here so y'all can take down my contact information. If you don't want to do that, give me a business card. I just want to keep you on an email list. My emails are informative, but they're also funny. So it's something nice in your inbox. Thank y'all so much.
Don, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you for breakfast and thank you for the information. I'll share this back to the Slack channel this afternoon so everybody will have the slides. Very interesting information. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going back to Brian's slides, if that's okay. Did y'all like that last week? It's okay? Okay. All right, so we're going to do that again this week. All right, so let's hit some core value. We are fanatical about having fun while we work and do not take ourselves too seriously. We embrace the ethic, work hard, and play hard. We believe that you have fun while you work and celebrate well when you succeed. We also work hard to keep egos in check and apply pride. So my spin on this is about working hard and playing hard. Clarissa, before the meeting, she said that she's going on her first listing appointment with the new forms and working hard to be prepared for those conversations is fun. I'm fighting it on the buyer side because I've done listings now with the new forms, but I had not done a buyer until last week, and Brian learned a bunch of stuff that everybody's been going through. Yeah, it's fun. And then funny story, Victoria, I said, "Hey, can you get my CDA? I'm closing on Thursday." This is like Friday, I guess. And she responded, "Your stuff's usually pretty good, or your stuff's always good. It'll be fine." Monday night, I get a thing, and 7 things that I missed. So don't think that
Exaggeration?
huh?
Is that an exaggeration?
No. No, it was 7. And I didn't even sign the buyer rep. I didn't sign the buyer rep. My client did, but I just, because it was the way it worked, and I already had a buyer rep, and I had to change it because they didn't pay all the money, that the seller wasn't paying everything. So the buyer had to pay it. So Brian had to do all the forms. So there we go.
I'm rubbing off on you, am I?
Apparently. Okay, announcements. Your Greater Fort Worth Association of Realtors dues are due Monday, the 30th. If you don't have auto pay set up in Greater Fort Worth, please do so that I don't have to call you on Tuesday and go, "Can you pay your dues, please?" Everybody's doing very well with Slack. I hope that makes sense, that I want all questions to go through Slack because everybody learns from every question. So answering in thread and going down that rabbit hole on each question is beneficial to everyone. What I missed?
She just looking at me.
So if you call her out, Clarissa called her out.
I turned around and was like,
I read that, Sheila.
I did. I answered in thread this week.
Yay!
He saw it.
Yay!
I would say this, like, if you're like me and you got a bunch of stuff going on throughout the day, Slack is annoying to you, right? Like emails, like whenever you, like, So emails are great because then I can know whenever I open them up, they're all gonna be there, right? But Slack is like this constant notification, and you're like, read it. So your reaction is just, I'm not just gonna read them. And so my advice is, don't read them. Like literally, batch them. And what I mean by batch is, take a time to be like, Slack's gonna be there just like an email whenever I'm ready to read them. Then you can go back and read them. I mean, even if you don't read them all day because you're busy, don't read them all day. It's probably not urgent. Like there's nothing, if something is urgent, someone will text you. That's how it should be used. So if you're looking for something urgent, people, like call or text someone. But Slack is meant to be batched and read, very similar to an email. It's just a group of people that's easier to communicate. So if you're just like discouraged and you're like, I hate Slack because it's just so annoying and you don't want to read it, don't. Like literally wait till most days, I don't read any Slack messages from anyone here until like 5 p.m. Just being honest. I'm not saying I don't love you guys. I'm just saying I got stuff to do, right? And then whenever I do read them, I can respond, at my time that I have brain space to actually listen or hear versus trying to check like 18 different messages. So pro tip, time saver, brain saver, the stuff on there is really good information. So if you're just like, screw it, it's too much, then you won't learn anything. So just do yourself a favor, batch them, do it whenever you have time or brain space, and then you can respond or learn. So that's just pro tip from Jimmy. Don't be worried if you cannot respond immediately. So even leaders, expert, like don't feel that pressure. Brian, you too.
Well, if I'm on,
Yeah, if you're on,
Come on.
if you have the brain space, do it. But don't drive yourself crazy.
when you tag me on something, I usually pay attention to it. So
Yeah.
if you put my name in it, I probably will see it pretty quick.
I still will not. It's just, you just can't. You just can't respond to everybody in the world at the same time. So do it whenever you can, whenever you have the brain space, and you do it well.
Okay, so Maria is in Europe. I think somebody said she's on her anniversary.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks. I
Two
think.
2.5 weeks, I think it is. But has everybody else finished the code of ethics training? Because Maria probably hasn't. But she said she was going to do it when she got back. If you haven't, please go check. You've got 3 months to do it, but it needs to be done. Next week, Ginger Heiss and a couple other people from Highland Homes will be here at 9:45, and it'll be our first agent meeting for the week. Although I'm used to the side of the first agent meeting is doing like market stats and stuff, and they've gotten so far behind on getting us market stats, it doesn't really serve us to do that. So I'm just giving you market updates pretty much every week, just so you kind of know. Tomorrow, 11:30, Courtside Kitchen, which is right over on Rogers Road, Town Hall, 6th Ave Town Hall. It was in your email Sunday night, but we're going to play pickleball. We have 2 pickleball courts from 11:30 to 1 tomorrow, 11:30 to 12:30, and lunch, Jimmy?
Yep, lunch and drinks.
Lunch and drinks.
If you
So
want
come get your drink on. Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
Mimosas.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. In case you haven't been back in the back of the building here, the new podcast room is coming along. We expect completion to be done by the end of October. It's going to be a great place for social media, for interviews, for anything that you want to do. They're going to have pro lighting back there in the room, so you'll be lit up where you can do it. Now, caveat: it's going to be bookable just like a meeting room is on our 6th Ave Gmail calendar. So you'll be able to go in and book it. However, Jimmy brought this up yesterday. If you get costumes and you've got 5 people coming and you book this time for 12 o'clock and storytelling needs it, you're bumped.
Yeah.
Storytelling's room.
Hey, you can always go across the highway to my brother's podcast.
Yeah.
If you get bumped.
Yeah.
Well, I don't imagine they will book it out plenty time in advance. But the reason why is they're using that to make money. Like that's their money source or whatever. And then this is a free thing for us. We're not charging you guys anything. Eventually we'll have studio equipment with cameras and stuff. So you have to bring your own camera at first, but we'll eventually have everything. The mics should be here actually now, but we'll have everything there. So, there's a lot of content. And then, It will also be for headshots or for photos. We'll have like backdrops that white backdrops and different backdrops you can put there. So we're building it out pretty quickly. It's going to be pretty nice. So like literally go shoot content for the next, 3 months or whatever and use it. So it's going to be cool.
Very cool.
But free to you guys. There's no charge. It's just be flexible with storytelling because they actually have to make money. So.
Okay, so
That's a good trade-off.
this next slide is shameless. But if you're in Mineola, Texas, if you've never been to Mineola, it's a cute little town, but it's called the Iron Horse Festival. It goes from 10 to 12. There's vendors set up and down. They close all the streets down in downtown. Pretty cool. Lots of good food. And then there's this band playing at 12:30. I have to be in Marshall at 7 a.m. to play for a men's conference for 3 songs, and then have to drive an hour and a half back to Mineola to play. I'm going to be there at 11:30. So Saturday, I will be tired by 3 o'clock, but if you want to come see it, come see us. I would love to see you guys there. Okay.
Everybody save your Slack messages for 3:30.
Yeah, 3:30, please, because I'll be on stage most of the day or driving.
He'll somehow respond. It's going to be crazy. Be playing the bass.
I have done that before.
Oh, I know you have.
That's when I decided to quit playing in a band full time. Was I was on stage, drenched in sweat in Keller, and I was writing a contract at 11 o'clock at night in the green room. And I was doing this, and I was going to make money writing a contract. And I was thinking, why am I playing for $100?
Yeah.
When I can go and actually do something. And that's when I retired. 6F swag. This will be in the link as well. But if you haven't got your t-shirts, please, they're in the back. Help yourself, and you can pay right there. The photo shoot. I've got 2 slots available for the photo shoot on October the 10th. If you want them, you can QR code that. These are for headshots. They're 10-minute slots. Huh?
That's our.
If nobody takes them, could possibly Rachel and I come to just get like a group headshot?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, guys. Yeah, book a slot or 2 or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't want to take it.
Yeah, but we'll have, if there's overlap or whatever, we'll have time to get some other stuff.
And I've got the last slot booked, so if somebody needs it, I did that on purpose.
My expectation is that if you guys need others, like you're already dressed up and you want just some candid shots or lifestyle shots, my expectation is for the photographer to do that willingly and give those to you guys. So
Yeah.
just so you know.
So if you want to book them, I think one at 12:40 and one at 12:50 or something. There's 2 slots right there, but that QR code will be in Slack as well. Okay, so just as a reminder.
Sorry, hold on, one last thing for that.
Yes, sir.
Bring props if you want to. Like bring like, like you want a person like showing a contract, to, or something like that, or like your what kind of photo shoot is this? Yeah.
Like the 6-app folders.
6-app folder, yeah. It's one of those things where it's like 10 minutes, you can do like 20 different shots, I mean, that's in 15, you can do a lot. I mean, so if you have it ready, you're like, hey, these are the 16 shots I want, just go for it. Like, I mean, literally make it your own. This is that one time where you bring an outfit change. I mean, take advantage of it. It's free. It's professional photography. It's going to look good. They're going to edit all the photos. So, I mean, take advantage of it. Use it. You can get 3 to 6 months worth of content of you, not like all the other stuff, but for you, you can get that right then, and that way you don't have to worry about it. So that is kind of
Very good.
take advantage.
Please. And we book these, once a quarter, so people can get their updated headshots if you need them. Okay, so every client must have a 1501 or 1507 signed before you go show houses. And even though Brian signed the buyer rep, my client signed it, I forgot to sign it. Please sign it, just so we have it in place. It's going to be good if we ever get audited, which they are doing some audits. I'm hearing some rumblings, so let's just make sure we get all our paperwork done. Okay, national market update. Housing starts rose 9.6% in August due to single-family starts, which are up 5.2% over the past year, which is fantastic news. The number of new homes completed jumped 9.2%, and building permits came in almost 5% higher. Influx of buyers pushed purchase mortgage applications up for the third week in a row. And the Mortgage Bankers Association noted home buyers are seeing improved affordability conditions and slower home price growth. Existing home sales slipped 2.5% in August, but signs of progress. The past year, existing home inventories are up almost 23%, with 4.2 months of supply approaching the 5 months of a normal market. What does that tell us?
Yeah.
We're getting close to a balanced market, but buyers have choice. We're not having to overbid. I told you guys, I've actually won that multi-offer situation, local contract situation. My buyers won it, and we were 5,000 below list.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Wow.
So-
What stood
Yeah.
out?
Huh?
What stood out to you, or for y'all?
We had $200,000 down.
Yeah.
That
You're
helps.
gonna put this on Slack,
Buyer
right?
strength.
I am.
Huh?
Why?
Well, because I still have unreasonable sellers.
Okay.
These are really great little things, isn't it?
Okay. The best time is coming up, September the 29th through October the 5th. They're saying 37% more listings at the start of the year compared to the summer peak. Demand could drop nearly 30%. Buyers could save more than $14,000 on the medium priced home of $445,000. I think this is really good information, and this is the best. Okay, so if September the 29th through October the 5th is the best time to buy a house this year, it's the best time to buy a house in the next 5 years. Because right now is better than it's going to be in 2025, which is better than it's going to be in 26, which is better than it's going to be in 27. House prices are not going to go down. So the people that are right there on that verge with interest rates being in the mid fives, I think it's time that they've got to get off the fence. They have to, if they're going to have a chance to buy. And some people that I was working with last year that I told them that was the time, well, now they can afford to buy. So that's a very big win for you if you're getting in front of your buyers. Business tip of the week: start each day with a plan of action. Create a to-do list the night before, including your goals for the day, handful of activities. We also are going to do, I'm going to do my class again about time blocking, probably later in the fall sometime. During this class, I'll do the time blocking thing. Okay, next, 8 ways to spruce up a listing. I don't know if you saw this in Sunday night's email, but I had this in there. Huh?
I did.
You did? Okay. Staging. Has anybody done staging, actual staging? How did it go?
A4 staging?
I did just, with the listing I have coming up, what week after next. I think it's, I think,
Did you stage their stuff, or did you?
No, we just staged their stuff. They
Staged
had
their
great stuff. We just needed to stage their stuff, and declutter and depersonalize and really go in there and, because people get comfortable in their living space and what they use it for, that doesn't translate to buyers, because like there was, Kaylee and I, that is great, like sunroom, blah, blah, blah. And they have like, I don't know, like a day bed, just kind of some, bleacher rolls. Kayla and I are like, hey, this looks out like the pool. So like we're opening shades. We're like, they have like she built like a bar, like, like or a liquor bottle, whatever. And we're like, put that there, make that. So you're like walking in. So, staging is just really maximizing the space. And I feel like it's pivotal with, so many agents not doing business and things like that. It's an expense that I feel like your clients are getting a one-up service. You know what I mean? Like you're taking the time because like we appraised the house, we staged the house, we landscaped the house, we've touched on every point, and I feel like that's going to build. Staging is one way you build confidence that you're being meticulous and getting their home to maximize profit.
Understood. Okay.
So
And Patty,
that's sort of my take on it.
Patty, you said you did Millwood.
Yes, I did.
I can't hear you. Try again.
Sorry. Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Yes, we did. They had a tremendous amount of furniture and personal items, and the way they had some of the rooms for how they lived did not make a lot of sense. So we changed that around to be a little more welcoming and open. So much so that they were like, oh my gosh, we've never seen this room like this. It's beautiful. So.
Good. Okay, good.
Does anybody actually have a stager that they like?
Well, now Kayla has staging service here at
But she
6
doesn't have furniture and stuff, does she?
No. Yeah. I've done both using their, 90% of the time it's going to be their furniture that's already there because they don't want to move out. But I've used whenever houses are empty, we've done that quite a bit.
Do you have like a recommendation that you can?
Yeah, I got.
I have one. I have one as well that I've met recently that has furniture, and she can even trade out. So if you've got some dated things that you want to spruce up, she can trade it out and store it for your clients as well, if that's of interest.
People asked me about it and
Yeah.
I didn't have anyone to offer.
Yeah, I think whether or not you like pay for that is very subjective on your listing.
Right.
And like, I think it's like a very situational thing.
Yeah.
Like lower end houses, it works. Like
Yeah.
it really does. Higher end houses, it works. The middle of the road is always so subjective.
Yeah.
And so overall, it's like, it's typically worth the money. Because it's depending on how much it is. But I can tell you on both of those like extreme ends, it definitely works. You're like, oh, it's a $250,000 listing. I'm not going to stage it. It's empty. It's like, no, that pretty much is going to sell. Like you'll beat every other person out of that market. So
Jen said, I have one as well, Danielle. I'll text. And Patty put something in the comments. So we'll pull those out before we end the meeting. Just remind me.
It's a great, I mean.
It's the same person.
Okay, I was gonna say, I want to put it on my website under my.
Yeah.
Okay.
Preferred vendors or whatever.
So tip 2, get new listing photos. And then remember, you're not just selling the house, you're selling that lifestyle. So telling the story is a big part of making a stale listing better. So like I often go back and rewrite my property description. I use AI a lot of the time.
Yeah.
That, I mean, you can do that and just get a little bit of a new nuance.
And one thing, I just relisted Garland.
Warwick.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to go out there, feel free to do whatever you want to it, literally. But one of the things I did when I relisted it, and I think I'm going to implement going forward for listings is to do a walkthrough video. Now, I know it doesn't sell a house, but when sellers see that on social media and they're able to share that with their sphere or their friends and family, it's just a one-up thing. Or if people really like it, you put, trendy music with it or whatever. I really feel like, because I mean, my client, which is Holly Terry Long, he's crazy. But like they were so like appreciative. So like their entire sphere when he took that video and put it all over the internet. Well, my name's tagged in it every time. So some of that can really create referral-based business.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the next thing here. Now this is I've got a QR code here that'll be in the slides. This takes you to something from NAR. That's the do's and don'ts of crafting compelling listing descriptions. So if you put that, I think that was in Sunday night's email as well, but I'm going to put a QR code there. Tip 4 is film a walkthrough of the property, which you were just saying. I always do that. You know my trick because of clear cooperation. If you market something publicly, it has to be an MLS the next business day. So my trick is I go on Friday, take my pictures, do a live video walkthrough on Facebook and post it. And as long as I'm on MLS Monday, I'm within the limits. So something to think about. Okay. And I hit the wrong button. Sorry, guys. Can you share the listings that Maggie staged for you? Okay. So Angela is asking a question in the comments. Okay. Number 5, run a multi-channel marketing campaign. Number 6, host a knockout open house. If you have your open house routine down pat, it actually might be a good idea to shake things up a bit, start giving your print materials a bit of refresh on Canva, have them ready. Taja, you talked about talking to sellers and making repairs or upgrades. I think that's a great idea. And then 8 is adjust the price. So always running CMAs, always watching what I call my fish finder. I'm always looking at the analytics on Broker Bay and the analytics on Showing Time, looking at those, seeing where the buyers are. Where are they looking? If they're in my neighborhood, what are they looking at? And then you can extrapolate information out of that. If you can see the number of houses that have shown at what price point, go back to the MLS, pull the houses that are in that price point and see what people are looking at. So interesting thing there. Okay. Location. Buyers value community and agents who connect to it. This is an article that I pulled, literally stole. But what people are looking for is a sense of community. A recent survey of more than 1,000 potential and recent home buyers suggests that finding a dream community is more important to buyers than finding a dream home, and they want agents to help them. Community is key, especially for parents. So if you're talking about older people above probably 45, 81% they're willing to give up elements of a dream home if they find it in the right community. And the number was even higher for buyers with children and Hispanic home buyers. 92 and 93% are putting more emphasis on community than the dream house. Buyers are wanting to get connected. More than 2/3 surveyed said they believe a connection to the local community is very important. Younger generations are especially interested in getting involved. 93% of millennials and 80% of Gen Z buyers surveyed said they want to live in a community where they can make a difference. What they want from agents, overwhelming majority of those surveyed said it's important for an agent to provide support through the process, an indication that buyer agency continues to be highly valued. One way agents can support buyers, according to the survey, is by demonstrating their understanding of the local community. Now, I'm going to call two people out right now and say, I think y'all do a great job. Taja and Holly, the things that y'all do on social media and the videos, just the community basis part of it, I think that that's really reaching people. It may not be a quick turn as far as getting a buyer or a seller, but I think it's a good long-term play.
We've seen it just with the consistency of a couple of videos a week, a walkthrough, talking about something, cocktail hour, as stupid as it is, has really like, but we're starting to see like our numbers like on TikTok, like jump pretty significantly.
Good.
I mean, it was just like, it was like monotonous, and now we're kind of seeing where it's building.
And it does take that consistency to get those things running. So I think it's great that you guys are doing that. And maybe one day I'll come in there and mix a drink for you. I'll make my smoky old fashioned. Buyers are pretty happy. Despite affordability challenges and limited inventory, factors which have most consumers convinced it's a bad time to buy, surveyed reported feeling positive emotions about home buying, such as happiness, excitement, joy, and hope. Nearly a quarter felt anxious, 1 in 5 felt uncertain, suggesting the need for a supportive agent. What else has influence movers? Comfort, lifestyle, and community factors outweighed financial considerations for most of the buyers surveyed. The primary reason buyers reported moving or wanting to move was to have more space, followed by finding a better fit for their lifestyle and being closer to family and friends. Now, I don't know if you guys have paid attention to what Brian Buffini said this year, but he thinks that about 70% of the people moving this year are going to be closer to family and friends, more than it is job. It's family and friends is where people want to be. Only a quarter of buyers said that they're moving for a job opportunity to be in an area with a lower cost of living. Okay, so another big thing that we're seeing nationally is what, do you guys remember steering from your residential classes?
Yeah.
Okay, so think about it in these terms. You've got a buyer, this goes into it more, but you've got a buyer that can't afford to pay you. They need the seller to pay. And they say, well, I only want to look at houses that I know the seller is willing to compensate me. Well, should you do that? Or should you at least show them everything and say, hey, this place here is not offering any compensation, or they're offering 1.5%, or they're offering 2% BAC. But maybe we can work a deal. Maybe we can get it for less where you're still, the money's moving. You know what I mean? I just got a confused look on her face.
I just have an opinion. I totally get it lawfully, but I mean.
But also, what law is more important, steering or like our fiduciary responsibility to our client? Like if they can't pay and they fall in love with something.
I think it's about having the conversation up front and them telling you.
Right, but what Brian, it sounds like you're saying is even still like not showing them the house.
Well, maybe not going out and showing them, but at least making it available to them and saying,
Oh, yeah, I thought you were
look,
saying.
look at these houses, look at these 12 houses.
These
and-
all meet your criteria. Yes, okay,
Yeah,
I thought you meant
I mean,
physically still going.
Well, it's kind of like the whole process. I mean, this may sound negative, but one of the things, like for me, is like I have sold a house. So like, I know when a first-time home buyer comes to me, how to maximize their investment, get what they want, whatever. So like, people will tell me, a lot of times, new construction is probably the way they're going to go, but I will purposefully take them sort of through a journey of, pre-existing homes and things like that, and let them eliminate that themselves.
Yeah.
And prioritize, like, well, what do you really want out of a house? When you're buying your first house, I mean, do you want major repairs? Do you, you want, costly things? Do you, and so I feel like you have to do that with the new construction process. So I feel like you're gonna have to do that with compensation as well. But I think the big value that we're trying to drive home, and it takes some time to translate it, is your value of representation.
Absolutely.
I mean, because people are focused on the house, and you've got to make it about, you've got to make it work. You can't just set them up on a search and let them find their own house. You've got to constantly be, digging back in and be like, well, here, I sent you this, tell me the positives and negatives about this house. Like, you got to be working for them and not just pre-approve them, put them up on a search.
I don't know what happened. This thing is being really, really strange. And I'm sorry, guys. Oh, bye, Patty. I don't know why this thing is being so strange with the video, but I'm just going to leave it there. Sorry, y'all. I know it looks awful and looks dark, but the lights are on. We're doing fine. But okay, so parking, not in that lot. Just so y'all know, that lot right there is off limits to us. That's just for that building. And I believe, yep, that's the end. Okay. That's the end of the presentation. Let me turn that off. And I don't know why the video looks like that. It's being weird. It just does that occasionally when it shuts down and won't come back up until I start the meeting over. Any other comments, questions, things going on in agent world? No? Well, enjoy breakfast. Thank you all for joining us today. We will see you next week with Highland Homes at 9:45 on Wednesday. Adios. And I'm gonna grab, before I get out, I'm gonna grab the comments out of that, and I'll post those into Slack as well. There it is. Okay. Maggie.